Good evening, one and all. I welcome all participants to virtual internship program on IoT project development using industry grade microcontroller. Yesterday I was discussing about MPLAB XID. I will continue with the same topic. Today we will see how to write simple C code, and for case study we will consider blinking of LEDs connected to port B. To get started, open MPLAB XID software. After installation of MPLAB XID software, there will be icon on the desktop. So double click on icon of MPLAB XID software. This is graphical user face window of MPLAB XID software. I have already discussed different panes like project pane, navigator's pane, editor's pane, and task pane. Now what we'll do is we'll create new project first, and after that we'll generate C file, and in C file we'll start writing our code. So at the top of this window you will see menu bar, and below menu bar there are frequently used icons. So most of the icons you will see they are disabled because we have not yet created project. So once you create the project, these icons will be enabled. To create new project, click on the file menu. So file menu is there on the top side, left hand side corner. So click on the file menu, drop down list will appear. In this list, there are number of options like new project, new file, open recent project. If you have already created a project, then you can select option of open recent project. We'll start with new project. So select first option, new project. This dialog will appear on the screen. Now there are categories for the project: microchip, embedded, other embedded, samples. So already first option is selected, microchip embedded, keep it as it is. Then there is another window on the right hand side in this dialog, and there are number of options here. Select first option, standalone project. Click next. Now in this wizard, you enter your device number. So there are PIC families here like baseline family, mid-range family, advanced family. PIC 18F4520 is coming under advanced family. So instead of that, what we can do is in this edit box, you directly type PIC device number which we are going to use. We are going to use PIC 18F4520. So there is a request from one participant. I will repeat the step. Click on the file menu to create the new project. Select first option, new project. This dialog will appear on the screen after selecting new project. Keep microchip embedded as it is. Select first option on the right hand side, standalone project. There are different types of projects. So whenever you create new project, go with this standalone project. After that, click next button. You will come across another dialog wherein you are supposed to enter PIC device number which you are going to use for your product. In our internship program, we will make use of PIC 18F4520. In this edit box, you enter part number PIC 18F4520. In the drop down list, this part number is appeared. Just click on it, it will get selected. So device number is selected. At the bottom of this dialog, there is next button. Click on the next. So here, these are the tools available for simulation, programming, and other purposes. You can select time being, you can select any tool. At the time of building the project, we can change the tool. For example, right now if you select simulator, later on you can select PicKit 3. You can select any tool time being. Click next. Now important point in this wizard is you must select compiler. If you do not install other compilers, they will not show up here. The compilers that you have installed, those compilers will be shown up here. As we are going to use X8 compiler, just select it. This step is really important. If you do not select compiler, your code will not be compiled later on. So in this wizard, you select the compiler, and this compiler must be installed. If you do not install X8 compiler, it will not show up here. So once you install MPLAB XID software, after that X8 compiler must be installed on your computer. So select compiler, which is nothing but here X8 compiler. After selecting compiler, click next button. Now give project name and project location. You can browse to the another location where you want to save the project. So my project location is d:/pic. I have created one folder with name pic. So my project will be saved in this folder. However, you can change the project location by this browse option. It is up to you. Now I am giving project name. You can give any name. I am giving name IoT project. Name given is IoT project. And if you look at here checkbox, there is option set as main project. So this is our main project. You may create multiple projects in this MPLAB XID. However, at the time of building your project, you select one project as a main project. So click finish. Click on the finish. So your project is created. So what is the name of the project? Look at my cursor position. Name of the project is IoT project. Under this project, there are different files like header files, important files, linker files, source files, libraries, and so on. So to begin writing our C code, we require source file. So we must create source file. So to create the source file, just right click. So there is once again request in the chat box. I must repeat once again. Okay, I will do it. So let me close this project. So let me once again repeat the steps. To create new project, click on the file menu. Select first option, new project. After selecting new project, this wizard will be open. In this wizard, there are three categories given in this window: microchip embedded, other embedded, and samples. So by default, this microchip embedded is selected. Keep it as it is. In another sub window on the right hand side, in this wizard, there are different project categories like standalone project, existing MPLAB ID, V8 project, then user makefile project, library project, and so on. Select first option. Select standalone project. Then click next. Another dialog will be open wherein you are supposed to enter device number. In our internship program, we are going to use PIC 18F4520. This is the device number. So this device number you enter here. So I am deleting default device number and now type device number PIC 18F4520. So in the list box, it is already appeared. So just click on it. So this device number is selected. After selecting device number, click on the next button. Another dialog will open. In this dialog, you can select any tool. Later on, we can change tool while performing simulation. You can select any tool. Time being, I select now PicKit 3, for example. Then click on next. Once you click on the next, this dialog is really important. In this dialog, X8 compiler must be shown. If it is not shown, it means that you have not installed it. However, if you already installed X8 compiler, it will be shown up here. So select this X8 compiler. After selecting X8 compiler, click on the next button. Another dialog will be open. In this dialog, you save your project. Through this dialog, you can create and save your project. So you can specify location where you want to save the project. I have already specified your location. According to your requirement, you can modify. For example, if I click on the browse, then I can change location. So my project location is d:/pic. I have created one folder with name pic. Under this folder, my new project will be saved. So I am giving now project name IoT. IoT, only IoT I will give now, because I am repeating the steps and I have already created a project with name IoT project. So I have given name IoT. This project is set as main project. Then click on the finish. Your project is created, but we have not yet created our source file. We have just created project. In project, you can add header files, C file, library files, and so on. So look at here, name of our project in this window. Window on the left hand side, left hand top side. Name of our project is IoT. Look at cursor position. What is name? IoT. Under this project, there you can include header file, important files, linker files, source files, libraries, and so on. So what we want to do is now we want to write simple C code. We will write C code for LED blinking. So to get started, we must create first of all source file. So you right click on this source files here. Look at here. Just right click here. Put your cursor on source file and click right button of the mouse. One menu will pop up. Here there are number of options. New file, new logic folder, add existing item. If you already written the C file, that you can include here by clicking on add existing item. Now what we will do is, I will show you how to create new file. So new, and then C main file or C source file, that you decide. You can select anyone here, C source file or C main file. So I am selecting C main file. Now give file name. Give file name, suitable file name. For example, LED blinking. I have given name LED blinking and its extension is C. This is C file. Finish. Under source file here, this C file is created. C file is created. Already, these are the comments at the beginning. I am the author, so my name is appeared here. This file is created on 3rd July at 6:13 p.m. We must include at the beginning, we must include another file called header file. And this header file is with the help of #include directive. #include xc.h. This xc.h header file is very, very important file. Without this file, we cannot compile our code. So what is the important of this file? Let us understand. After that, we'll start writing our code. This xc.h is the header file. It contains information of all PIC devices, all 8-bit PIC devices from 10F series, 12F series, 16F series, 18F series. So information of each and every PIC device in 8-bit family is available in this header file. So what is this information? Yesterday I discussed some of the SFRs on chip available in PIC microcontroller. SFRs are like status register, maybe timer 0 control register, timer 0 low byte, timer 0 high byte. So these registers we are going to use in our program by their names. What is the meaning of this name? is mentioned in this header file. So for example, what does timer 0 low byte mean? It is there in the header file, and this information is actually used by compiler when your code is compiled. So that is the purpose of adding this header file. Once again, I repeat, header file contains information of all 8-bit PIC devices from all series, 10F series, 12F series, 16F series, 18F series. And as while creating the new project, we have already mentioned part number. What is our part number? PIC 18F4520, and in the navigation pane you will see here, I have highlighted here, look at the cursor. What is the device number? PIC 18F4520. This is the part number we are going to use in our program. So this header files contain information of all part numbers. But as we have included a specific part number while creating project, at the time of compilation, compiler will extract information of PIC 18F4520 from this header file. Okay. Next, instead of return value, we'll create main function with void, and will not pass any argument. So void main void. So in C program, there is always one main function, and we are not going to return any value. So I have modified a bit. Now next, we need to appropriately set bits in the configuration memory. And yesterday, I was discussing about how to do settings in configuration memory. So once again, let me revise that part. Configuration memory is really important. If you do not properly configure it, your code may not work. Even though your code is correct, it will not work in hardware. So to set the configuration memory bits as per requirement, click on the window menu. Click on the window menu. Drop down list will appear. Just scroll down to target memory views. I repeat, to open the configuration memory view, click on the window menu. Drop down list will appear. Scroll down to target memory views and select configuration bits. It is open here. Now let me open this is application note. Application note is already shared on Google Drive. So let me open section on configuration memory. So this section is given on page number 251. This table shows configuration memory registers. Configuration memory begins at location. It is given here. It begins at this location. 30000 hex. And this configuration memory is mapped starting at program memory location 3000H. So through software program, we cannot modify content of configuration memory. First location 3000 hex, there is configuration 1 low byte register, and bits in configuration 1 low byte registers are not used for any purpose. So that's why that register is not mentioned in this table. So by appropriately setting clearing bits in this configuration memory, we can enable or disable some on-chip peripheral features. The example of first register, config G1 high byte. All configuration registers are 8-bit, but they are grouped like low byte, high byte. So altogether it becomes 16-bit. So with the help of these bits, we can decide source of oscillator, whether crystal oscillator, RC oscillator, on-chip oscillator. So with the help of these 4 bits, we can decide which oscillator is to be used for microcontroller. So this we can do with the help of PIC-kit programming software, or in this MPLAB XID software, we can open this configuration bits, this memory view, and graphically we can select required operation. Like for example, we want INT-IO67. The meaning of INT-IO67 is 6 stands for RA6 pin and 7 stands for RA7 pin. So this RA6 and RA7 pin, they are multiplexed with oscillator block. So whenever you connect external crystal, that crystal must be connected in between RA6 and RA7 pin. And when you use on-chip oscillator, again you have 2 options. Whether you want clock signal on one of the pin, or you don't want clock signal on both pins, and this RA6 and RA7 will function as general purpose input output pin. So yesterday already I discussed this. When I select INT-IO67, what is selected here? Internal oscillator block code function on RA6 and RA7. Its description is given here. Internal oscillator block code function on RA6 and RA7. So if I go back to this data sheet, this meaning is given here. Let me scroll down. These 4 bits. So what we want here? We want internal oscillator block code function on this combination. So these 4 bits should be 1 0 0 0. These 4 bits should be 1 0. Let me write here 1 0 0 0. So in MPLAB XID software, this option we have selected graphically. So when code will be compiled, automatically code will be generated with 100 values for this register. Understand? So we are doing it here graphically. So let us quickly go through different fields and different options in this configuration memory. Other bits I am not using, so I am keeping them as it is, because they are not relevant to us time being. Next is PWRT, power up timer. So with the help of this field and with the help of option column here, we can enable or disable power up timer. So for example, if I enable the power up timer, the description will appear at the list. Power up timer is enabled. I already told you, whenever we power on the microcontroller, whether it is external oscillator or on-chip oscillator, this oscillator requires small amount of time to stabilize. So for example, if you have selected oscillator for 4 MHz frequency, so as soon as you switch on the power supply for microcontroller, at the beginning oscillation frequency may not be 4 MHz, because oscillator requires some time to get stable oscillation frequency. And during this transition period, if you want to delay the program execution, then that is possible with power up timer. So when you enable the power up timer, your program execution is delayed by approximately 66 milliseconds. And it is assumed that during 66 millisecond interval of time, oscillator gets stabilized. And after that, this power up timer signals CPU to start the execution. So I have enabled this power up timer. Then there is brownout reset. So this brownout reset you can enable or disable with the BORN field. And next to this column, there is option column here. So there are number of options here. So first option is SBORDIS. What is the description in the last column here? Brownout reset enabled in hardware only. So you cannot modify in software. Software enabled disable is disabled. That's the meaning. And if you select another option, on, then what is the description? Brownout reset enabled and controlled by software. So it is better to go with, if you want to use brownout reset, go with BORN and option must be on, so that you can modify this brownout reset threshold in software. Then BORB field. I already told you, in PIC 18F4520, it is possible to set 4 different thresholds. So with the help of this field, you can select required threshold. So when you select option 3, then minimum setting, your threshold may be around 2.03 something. I do not remember value. So I already discussed, there are 4 threshold values. So lower threshold gets selected when option value is 3, and when option value is 0, higher threshold gets selected. Higher threshold is around, I think, 4.85. Then watchdog timer. If you don't want to use watchdog timer, then disable it. I have disabled. So once watchdog timer is disabled, this WDTPS field has no effect because it is post scalar value. Once watchdog timer is disabled, this post scalar value has no effect. CCP2, we are not using capture compare mode. So I am not making any changes in this field. Then PBADEN. This PBADEN stands for port B analog pins. So when you enable this, analog pins on the port B will be configured for analog operation. And when you disable it, when you disable this field, lower 4 pins, that is RB0, RB1, RB2, RB3, they will be configured for digital input output operation. So for our LED blinking program, we want these pins as digital input output. So they should not be analog. So this field must be off. MCLRE. This MCLRE is multiplexed with RE3 port pin. So whether you want to use pin number 1 as MCLRE pin or RE3 pin, that is decided by this field. So when this field is on, pin number 1 function as MCLRE pin, and when this field is off, pin number 1 function as RE3, and RE3 pin cannot be used as output. It can be used as only input pin, whereas remaining all port pins can be used as input as well as output. Except RE3 pin, all pins can be used as input output. In the description, you will see RE3 input pin enabled, MCLR disabled. So I will enable it. MCLR is enabled. Then STVREN. It is related to stack full underflow reset. So if you want reset whenever there is stack underflow or stack overflow, then it must be enabled here. And if you don't want reset on stack underflow or stack overflow, you can keep it off. So that is up to you. Low voltage programming. I have not used so far, so I am keeping it off. This is extended instruction set enable bit. I am not using any extended instruction, so it is disabled. Next instruction, next fields are very interesting. CP0, CP1, CP2, CP3, and CP0. These fields are used for code protection purpose. In PIC 18F4520, there is 32 kilobyte flash memory. This flash memory is divided into 5 different blocks. It is divided into 5 different blocks. So each block, you can add code protection or you can disable code protection. As I already mentioned on day 1, in PIC microcontroller, if you enable code protection, then nobody can copy code in the flash memory. However, if you disable code protection, with the help of PICkit3 or PICkit2 programmer, we can read hex file in the flash memory, and same hex file we can load in other PIC devices. So if you have developed any commercial product, then go with code protection on. So select a CP0 field and make code protection on for 0th block. Then first block code protection enabled, second block enabled, third block enabled. First block is called boot block. That is first block starting from 0, 0, 0. Range is given here. Range of each block is given here. Boot block starting address is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 to 0007 FF. Code protection is enabled, and so on. CPD. If you want to also protect data in the EEPROM memory, sometimes you may load some constant values in the EPROM memory. So if you want to protect data in the EPROM memory, then enable this CPD field. Then write protection. That if you want to protect your program memory being write erroneously, then you can enable this protection. Then there is protection for configuration register. Enable it. See, using programmer, we can write to the configuration memory. Boot block code protection enabled. So likewise, you can enable or disable required fields as per requirement. Now, how to generate small piece of code so that this code can be included in our C file. So at the bottom of this window, you will see there is one tab here. Look at my cursor position, generate source code to output. Click on this button, click on this tab, generate source code to output. Click on it. See, another window is open and there are hash pragma directives used. So this code, just copy from here. I've copied this code. Control C and put it in your C file. So after this hash include directive, just paste it here. Double slash, whatever you type after double slash, it becomes comment. All of you already know about rules of C programming. So whatever you type after double slash, it becomes comment. This hash pragma directive is used for configuring the bits in the configuration memory. So automatically, when we click on this button, generate source code to output, automatically this piece of code is generated, and this is related to configuration memory. So what we have done is we have just copied from it here and pasted in our C file. So now we have here main function. Now start writing your C code. What you must first of all do is at the beginning of your program, you must first of all set oscillation frequency. And to set oscillation frequency, there is one SFR, special function register. It is called oscillation control register. And yesterday, I think I already discussed. So let me revise it once again. So there is SFR. So relevant SFRs I will discuss while writing this program. So as we proceed further, I will make use of more and more SFRs in our program. So at the beginning, you must define oscillation frequency. So just go to the oscillator configuration section in this application note. So just scroll down here and go to the this page where description of oscillator control register is given. I want to use 4 megahertz on chip oscillator. 4 megahertz. So this IRCF stands for internal oscillator frequency select bits. So these 3 bits must be 110. 110. First bit is related to sleep instruction. As we are not using sleep instruction, you can have any value. At time being, I am putting 1. These 2 bits are readable bits. Look at here, readable is written. So you can write any value, either 1 or 0. If you try to attempt to write readable bits, bits will not be written, remember. Then last 2 bits. As we want to use on-chip oscillator, these last 2 bits, value should be 1 don't care. That is either 11 or 10. 1 0 or 1 1. So I am putting 1 1 for last 2 bits. Now you group first 4 bits together and convert into hex number. So 1110, it becomes hexadecimal E. And last 4 bits you group together, it becomes hexadecimal F. So 0xEF. So OSC con is equal to 0xEF. You can write comment here. Each and every statement in your C program must be terminated in semicolon. OSC con is equal to EF. You can add comment. 4 megahertz clock, not clock, sorry, oscillator. Clock frequency is F oscillator by 4. After that, we are writing code for LED blinking. So what we'll do is, we'll blink LEDs connected to port B. So therefore, your port must be digital output. And to configure port B for digital output, your trace register, trace B, is equal to 0x00. So all 8 pins of port B will become output with this instruction. So trace B is equal to 0x00. You can write comment, port B is output port. And what type of, it is digital output. Port B is digital output port. Another important point related to port B is, some of the port pins may become analog. However, through configuration bits, we have ensured that those bits are, those port pins are digital input output pins. Let me open ADC section. ADC I am going to discuss in detail maybe tomorrow. But there is one register which is associated with port B. And this register is ADCON 1. This register. In ADCON 1 register, there are last 4 bits. With the help of these 4 bits, we can control analog or digital functionality of the port pins. Total there are 13 channels. 13 channels in PIC18F 4.20, and we can make them make the channels as analog or digital, and it depends upon bit values of these last 4 bits, that is PCFG3, PCFG2, PCFG1, PCFG0. So those 4 bits are mentioned in this table. So if last 4 bits are 000, then all 13 channels becomes analog. In this table, A stands for analog, A stands for analog, D stands for digital. And if all 4 bits are 111, which 4 bits? Last 4 bits of ADCON 1 register, AD control register 1. If all 4 bits are 111, then what we get here? All 13 channel becomes digital input output. So what should be all 4 bits here? In our case, some of the pins are there on the, some of the analog pins are there on the port B. Let me show you once again. And in this program, we do not require any analog pin. So this is the pin diagram. Which channels are analog? Like this, AN11 analog channel, AN9, AN8, AN10, AN12. So how many pins are multiplexed with analog function? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins. So these 5 pins are multiplexed with analog channel. So whether you want to make these pins analog or digital, that depends upon 4 bits in ADCON 1 register. That is last 4 bits of ADCON 1 register. So what we will do is, in this program we will consider all channels are digital input output channels. So we will put here 1 1 1 1 and we will put here 0 0 0 0. So what is the code word? 0x 0f. So ADCON 1 register must be loaded with 0x 0f. ADCON 1 is equal to 0x 0f semicolon. Oscillator is selected with oscillation frequency 4 megahertz. We have made port B as output port, and through ADCON 1 register we ensure that all port pins of port B are digital input output. None of the pin is analog. Next is, at the beginning we'll make all pins of port B 0. So port B is equal to 0x00. So all port pins are set to 00. So when you execute this instruction, port B is equal to 0x0. So this data is returned to latch B. I already discussed. Write operation with respect to port is done with respect to latch register. So this data is returned to latch register. After that, we'll keep our program busy in while loop. So this while loop is never terminating while loop. So in the argument of this while loop, I will write 1. So this while loop will be indefinitely executed. Now inside this while loop, what we will do is, we'll make port pins on and off. So initially what we'll do is, now here, port B is equal to 0x00. After that, we'll add a delay. And after some delay, we'll make all port pins 1. To add the delay, you have two options. There is built-in macro available. With that macro, you can add required delay in millisecond. And second option is, with the help of for loop, you write your own subroutine to generate the delay. So two options are there. I will explain both methods. So what we'll do is, we'll use built-in macro initially. To make use of built-in macro, you need to define one variable, because that variable is used inside the macro. So using hash define directive, define that variable. So hash define underscore in capital XTAL underscore frequency, and then mention your crystal frequency. Although we are not using external frequency, but through oscillator control register, we have selected 4 megahertz frequency, right? So write frequency in megahertz after this definition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So now frequency is 4 megahertz. Now here, use built-in macro. This built-in macro is mentioned in the datasheet of X8 compiler. To use built-in macro, type double underscore in lowercase type delay, double underscore followed by delay underscore ms. Then inside the parenthesis, we are supposed to enter number which indicates delay in milliseconds. So if I enter 1 here, then added delay will be 1 millisecond. If I enter here 1000, delay will be 1000 milliseconds, and so on. After that, make all pins of the port B logic 1. So you write port B is equal to 0x FF. So if you look at the instruction, port B is equal to 0x00. Meaning of 0x is, whatever data you enter after x, that will be accepted in hex. 0800 means data assigned to port B is in hex. This compiler will understand whatever you type after X, it is in hex. And if you write, for example, if you have created some variable and if you do not type 0x, if you simply type number, it will be accepted in decimal. You can also add data in binary. So for example, if you want to type number in binary, then 0B and then type bits, 8 bits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. So it is up to you in which format you want to enter the data. So I will go with hex format. Then 1000 millisecond delay is added. After that, all pins of the port B are made logic 1. Once again, add the same delay. So same delay is added once again. As this while loop is indefinite loop, program will be always busy here in this while loop. So alternately, port pins become logic 0, logic 1. So when you connect LEDs on this port pin, these LEDs will become on and off. So this is a simple program. Now what we'll do is, we'll build this project and we'll generate hex file. So to build this project, you click on this icon. Look at this icon. There are two icons here: build main project, clean and build main project. So we'll say the second option here: clean and build main project. I once again repeat. In this, on the ribbon here, there are two rows. One is file menu, another is contains different tools, and these different tools are indicated by their icons. So select this tool, clean and build main project. Click on it. What is message here? Build is successful. If any typo error is there or any syntax error is there, then build will be unsuccessful. So as build is successful here, already hex file is also generated. At the bottom, let me highlight here this sentence. What is mentioned here? Loading code from this directory and your hex file is generated .hex, and where it is saved? t:/pic/iot.hex/dist/default. So here this hex file is by default saved. You can also generate hex file with another name, that is up to you. So what you can do is right click on this project name here. I once again repeat. In this project window here, right click on project name. Our project name is IoT. Right click on it. One list will pop up. From this list, select export hex option. From this pop-up list, select export hex. Now you can save your hex file at any required location. That is up to you. So I am saving, for example, this file on D drive, and I am giving name LED. So its extension will be .h. H stands for hex file. Save. So I have created another hex file with name led.hex, and it is saved on D drive. And by default also, hex file is generated and it is saved in default location of your project. Now after generating hex file, you must load this hex file on PIC microcontroller. And in order to load this hex file on PIC microcontroller, what you need is either PICkit2 or PICkit3. PICkit3 is more advanced as compared with PICkit2. And few years back, PICkit4 is also launched by Microchip. So PICkit3 and PICkit4 supports many devices for programming. PICkit2 does not support all devices. However, PICkit2 supports PIC18A4520. Now I would like to show you a small video which describes how to load hex file in PIC microcontroller.
In this video, I will demonstrate use.
Let me see sound setting, just a minute. Shubham, please check whether video is audible or not. Check.
In this video, I will demonstrate use of PicKit 3
No.
for burning hex file into.
Please check.
In this video, I will demonstrate use of PicKit 3 for burning hex file into PIC microcontroller. First of all, let's see connections. On the back side of PicKit 3, pins are labeled. This VPP pin of PicKit 3 is to be connected to MCLR pin on PIC development board. VDD pin, which is nothing but 5V pin of PicKit 3, is to be connected to VCC pin of PIC development board. VSS pin is ground pin. VSS pin of PicKit 3 is to be connected to ground pin on PIC development board. PGT stands for program data. PGT pin of PicKit 3 is to be connected to PGT pin of PIC development board. And last, PGC. PGC stands for program clock. PGC pin is to be connected to PGC pin of PIC development board. Now we'll generate hex file. So build your project. After successfully building the project, right click on the project name and generate hex file, export hex. I am saving this file with name ADC. Hex file is saved. Now open PicKit 3 software. Here device is detected. Device is PIC18A4520. Now let us import hex file. Import. Name of hex file is adc.hex. This file is successfully imported. Now click on write. So status is programming successful. So hex file is successfully burned into PIC microcontroller. Now we can check the program. So this C code is written for analog to digital conversion. So if I rotate this trimmer pot, analog voltage will change and corresponding ADC data will also change.
Am I audible? So one more video I would like to show you, that is LED blinking.
I have written program for LED blinking. In this program,
Is video audible?
I have made port B pins on and off. So what I am doing is now I am connecting this. In this video, I will explain use of PIC development board given in IoT kit. In this PIC development board, there is 40-pin ZIP socket. Insert PIC microcontroller IC in this ZIP socket. Pin number 1 of microcontroller IC is here. This pin number 1 of microcontroller IC must come near this handle. After that, lock the IC. In this development board, this connector is given for in-circuit serial programming. This connector must be connected to PicKit 3 or PicKit 2 programmer. This connector is given for LCD display connection. This 2.2K resistor is used to get the optimum contrast for LCD display. I have not given potentiometer for contrast adjustment. Contrast is adjusted using fixed 2.2K resistor. There are 4 small LEDs are given here, 3 mm LEDs. Other end of LED is grounded through 1K resistors, and anode of all 4 LEDs is available on this 4-pin buck strip. Then for asynchronous serial communication, TX RX pins are available here. This is RX pin, this is TX pin. This RX pin is multiplexed with RC7, TX pin is multiplexed with RC6. There is motor driver IC ULN2003. This strip is input side of this IC, and this strip is output side. Then we have port A available here, RA02, RA5, RE0, RE1, RE2, these 3 port pins. Port B pins are available here. Total 8 pins of port B are available here. Then for 5 volt ground and 12 volt connection, we have given here 3 connectors. So on this line you will get 5 volt. On this middle line 12 volt is available, and on this line ground is available. This is power indication LED. This is reset switch. For learning hardware interrupt, one switch is given here. So one end of the switch is grounded and other end of the switch is available on these 2 pins. For example, if you want to connect this switch to RB0 port pin, then just connect this jumper wire on any one connector here, and I am connecting it on RB0 pin. So this switch is now connected to RB0 pin. There is one pull-up resistor given here. This pull-up resistor is 5 pin. This 5 pin pull-up resistor has internally 4 resistors and one common pin. This common pin is connected to this pin of the buck strip. So to bring this pull-up resistor into circuit, just short circuit these 2 pins. Like I am putting one jumper wire here, like this. Now 5 volt is connected to the pull-up resistor. Pull-up resistor is now active, and when you remove this wire, this pull-up resistor get disconnected. So depending upon whether you require pull-up resistor or not, short circuit this buck strip. So if you don't want to use this switch, remove this wire. Now let us see how to interface these LEDs to either port pin or 5 volt. A 12 volt adapter is connected to this jack pin. Now it is switched on. Let's see how to control these LEDs. For example, if I connect the jumper wire here, the jumper wire is connected to this lower 3 mm LED. If I put this wire on this 5 volt line, this LED started glowing. Same LED we can control with the help of program. So what you need to do is, you just connect this wire of any LED here to any port pin and make that port pin on and off. Now this development board is powered on. Here code is written for analog to digital conversion. Analog signal on RA0 port pin is digitized and displayed on the display. So what I need to do is, I must connect analog 0 pin to output of this streamer port. What is the digital value here? Digital value is 75. Now if I change analog voltage by rotating this streamer port, then this digitized value will change. I am increasing output voltage. So maximum number that we get here is 1023. It is close to that.
Next I am playing video of few seconds for LED blinking.
I have written program for LED blinking. In this program, I have made port B pins on and off. So what I am doing is, now I am connecting these 4 green LEDs to lower 4 pins of the port B. So this lower LED I am connecting to RB0 pin. Next LED I am connecting to RB1 pin. Next RB2. And fourth LED I am connecting to RB3. Now I will switch on the power. These 4 LEDs are blinking on and off. So simple program is written.
Now what we'll do is, we'll do simulation of LED blinking code in Proteus software. Now I request Mr. Shubham Omase to continue with small session on use of Proteus software for simulating LED blinking program.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Uh, so basically, before we start with the simulation of LED blinking, what we will do, first we will understand how to use Proteus software and what are the important tools in it. So basically, we will start with that. So now the Proteus user interface is visible. This is the Proteus user interface, you can see. And the empty space you are looking at is called as workspace. In this workspace, you can drag the components which are required to complete your circuit. Okay, and do connections to make a complete circuit, and after that you can simulate it. So we will go by sequence. First, we will create new project and drag components which are required to simulate our program. According to our program, we will make the connections in the workspace. So by first thing we have to do is create new project. I will show you how to create new project. Just click on file, select new project. You can see other options also, but mostly we are going to need open project, new project, and save project. These are the mostly used options here. Others are not frequently used. Okay, just select new project. Okay. I will just close the current project. Okay. Now we have to give name to our project. For example, give some related name to our project. For example, we are doing simulation of LED blinking, so we'll give name LED blink. Okay, likewise, you can give any name you want. Next, we have to we do not have to change anything. We just have to click next. If you want to change the area of the user interface, you can select any other option, but I recommend you to just select the default option. Just now click next. After that, we do not want to create any PCB layout for this particular project. So just click next. And also no formal project, select this one and click the next and just finish it. Okay, fantastic. After this completion of this new project process, you will see this empty space again. Okay, so in our program in MPLABX, you can see here, I will just open the code. We have chosen this microcontroller PIC18F4520. Okay, so in Proteus, how to drag that component into workspace so we can make connections. For that, you have to click on this yellow icon of component mode. Okay, and in that, after clicking on that, just select this P icon. After selecting this P icon, one pop-up menu will open, and in that menu you have to type the name of that component. For example, PIC18F4 4520. Okay. Now we have to select this component. After writing the name of our component, it will appear here. Okay. So we just have to click OK, and after clicking OK, it will appear here on this list. Okay, component list. Okay. So just click on this component name, and after that you have to click on workspace, and that component will appear here. So we are now ready to make connections according to our program. After that, make first of all make list of components required to simulate your program. Okay, so what we are going to need in this simulation: peak 18F4520. Secondly, one resistor to limit the current flowing through LED. A LED. Okay, these are the all required things. Second component, we will just choose the second component, which is LED. I will just type LED. You can see the all the options available in Proteus software. We just have to select one LED. Just look at this library below library name. Just select the active LED, any color. Choose just any color. I will choose green LED, and you have to make sure that it is active. Okay, and after that you have to click OK. When you click OK, this component will appear in this list. After that, you just have to click on it and have to click here. Okay, fantastic. After that, we have to check if the MCLR pin of the microcontroller is we have set on or off. In the code section, we have to just check it for it. See, we have hash progma config MCLR equals to on. We have set MCLR as on. So when we set MCLR as on, we have to give 5-volt input to that pin externally in the simulation. Okay. So mostly the left side toolbar we are going to use the frequently, and the other available tools we are not going to use that frequently. Okay, these are not muchly used toolbar. Okay, so we will just click on this sine icon, sinusoidal waveform. Okay, generated mode, and from that you can choose the all DC. Okay, because we are going to need DC power supply. After clicking that, what you can do to connect power supply with the microcontroller. You have to just connect that with this. Just click here. Okay, I will zoom here. I will show you how to do that again. Just delete that wire. Just click here, and after that drag that wire and connect to another component. In this case, it is power supply. Okay, so we have to set this power supply to 5 volt because operating voltage of microcontroller is within that range. Okay, so we will change the property of this power supply. To change the property, you just have to right click on it, and select edit properties. In that you will find all other options, but we need DC power supply, so we just have to set it to 5 volts. Just enter 5 and click on OK. Okay, now this power supply is available for 5 volts. After that, if you observe carefully, there are no VDD or ground pins available for this microcontroller. This is because Proteus software, the library present for PIC 18F4520, already has provided that required voltage and ground for the microcontroller. You do not have to connect externally power supply to the microcontroller because you will not find any pins. After that, what we are going to do, we are going to need a resistor to limit current flowing through LED. Else, what will happen in real practice, the LED will burn if you connect that directly to the microcontroller. So that reason, just to select the resistor component, again what we have to do, we have to select on component mode. Okay, and just click on this P icon and type resistor. Okay, it will show here. Okay, just I have not written the entire word, but it will appear here. Okay, just have to click on it. Okay, and you have to drag it here. Okay, now it is the current value of resistor is 10 kilo ohm. So in our case, we are going to need just 1 kilo ohm to limit the current flowing through LED. So to change this value, what we have to do, we have to just right click on it, and whenever if you want to change properties of any component, you just have to click right on it and go click on edit properties and just change the number 10 here to 1K and just click OK. After that, it will show 1K here. Okay, fantastic. After that, if you see, look at our code, we have connected entire port B to the LED. Okay, so what we will do, we will make the same connections according to our program we have written. To do that, port B is over here. What I will do, I will just right click on it, drag this object over here. Okay, now after that, I will drag the LED. Now we have to make connections. As already I have mentioned how to make connections with the wires. You just have to click on one of the end terminal of any component. You just have to click on it and drag that connection with the wire to the another component terminal. Okay, and just have to click it. It will make a connection. After that, you have to make this connection, register connection with the port B. Okay. Now whenever port B will turn on, means the voltage data return over here will be 1, it will write the 5 volt physical, it will write 5 voltage on this pin. Okay. So to make current flow from this wire through this resistor and this LED, we have to make sure that it is the end terminal of LED is connected to the ground pin. Okay. To add ground, what we have to do, we have to just click on here terminal modes. Just we have to click here and select the ground option. Okay. And after selecting ground, we have to drag it over here in the workspace and just have to make connection with end terminal of the LED. Just check the polarity of LED. The negative side is connected to the ground and positive side is connected to the port pin of LED. Okay. So what we can do, we have connected only one LED. We can do similar connections with the all other LEDs also. Okay, for time being, I just keep one LED over here, and I will tell you how to burn that hex file that we have created after building our project. Okay, I will just show you output here. So here you can see that our hex file is returned to. I'll just build it again. Okay, we can see that we can see here the directory in which we have written our hex file. Okay, it is a D peak IoTX, the project name. Okay, we have to select this in our simulation. How to do that? Again, go back to microcontroller in the Proteus software, right click on it, go to edit properties, and we will see all other parameters which are not required for us. The two important parameters we will be required is program file and process clock frequency. The same clock frequency you have to mention here that you have written in a program. In our case, it is 4 megahertz we have configured in OSCON register and defined as external frequency as well. So we have to put 4 megahertz as it is. And after that, we have to select the program file. When it comes to program file, we have to select the hex file, not the program file, C file. Okay. After successful building your C program, it will generate one hex file and you have to select that. And to path of that hex file, you can find over here in the output section, you can find this is the path of your hex file. Okay, I will just add here that hex file. I will just go to this PC D, and in D we have to go to peak IoTX. IoTX, you can see here in that dist default and production. You just have to click on it, okay, and just click on open. Okay, now the path to this hex file is written here. You do not, whenever you change something in code, you do not need to come here and again update this path. Whenever you make some changes in the code and compile it again, build it again, uh, the hex file will be automatically changed. You do not have to make any changes in the program file. Okay, just after that you just have to click OK. Fantastic. Now after that everything is complete. What we can do now, we are ready to simulate our design circuit here. After we to run our simulation, we just have to click on this icon, this play button, and then after that simulation will start. Okay, as we have connected this resistor, it is limiting the current flowing through it. The brightness of LEDs that is not visible. Okay, what I will do, I will just disconnect this resistor and will connect that LED directly to the port pin of microcontroller. And after that, we will check what happens. I will just stop. To stop the simulation, you just have to click on this square icon and your simulation will stop. When simulation is in process, you cannot make any changes. To make changes, you must stop the simulation. Just I will delete this wire. I will also again delete this component also. And what I will do, I will just connect this LED directly to the port pin of P. Fantastic. And after that, I will simulate again. To simulate again, just have to click on that triangular play button. Now the brightness of LED has increased because we have removed the resistor, which was reducing the current flowing through LED. Fantastic. Now you can observe here, we have not connected all the other LEDs on port B, but you can see here the data written on pin you can observe by color changes. The red means the positive voltage, which is 5 volt, means the data 1 is been written on these pins, and the blue means the 0, means the ground is being written on these pins. Okay, and one more thing I would like to share here is that whenever you set in the program file the MCLR on, you must connect this external 5 volt to this pin, else your simulation will not run. Let me show you that also. Controller will reset. I will just disconnect it, okay, and I will just run it again. Anything is not happening here, blinking is not happening here. You can check here. Control is being reset process. Okay, now I will just stop the simulation. I will again connect the pi hole. Okay, and I will just again run the simulation. You can see the everything is working fine now. Okay, the simulation part is done. I will again hand over a session back to Kakade sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubham. Shubham demonstrated that in simulation software, when register is removed, then you started seeing the intensity of the LED. However, when you connect LEDs in actual practice, current limiting register is must, otherwise your LED will burn. So there are some limitations in simulating softwares. Now what we will do is, today I will end session here. We will go for question answer session, and tomorrow I am going to discuss LCD interfacing and ADC, analog to digital conversion, ADC module, as well as writing code for analog to digital conversion. So I will discuss C code writing, and after that small session on simulating LCD interfacing with the help of Proteus will be also done. So those who are new, I recommend them to watch today's recorded session 1 or 2 times. And if you have laptop with you, what you can do is open MPLAB XID software and follow the steps that I discussed already. How about PIC C18 compiler? PIC C18 compiler is not supported in MPLAB XID. It is supported in MPLAB IDE. See, there are two different softwares developed by Microchip, MPLAB IDE and MPLAB XIDE. So PIC C18 compiler is supported in MPLAB IDE software. Can we do the programming in Kill? No. Kill programming is not supported for PIC devices. How to open the configuration bit file in editor pane? Should I explain once again? See, what you do is click on the window menu, drop down list will appear, scroll down to target memory views and select configuration bit. So this window will be open. This is task pane. Here, with the help of these different fields here, according to your requirement, either enable them, disable them, or configure as per your requirement. After doing that, at the bottom of this window, there is one button called generate source code to output. So it will generate code only for configuration memory. So after clicking on this button, code for configuration memory is generated here as per your setting. Just you copy this and paste it in your C file. That's it. I am new to class, so how can I get the previous recorded videos? We'll once again share the link on WhatsApp group for previous sessions. We'll once again share link of all recorded sessions in all groups once again. I do not understand one question. If we create project with firmware, then we will get direct controller with 5V VDD. See, PIC 18F4520, you can operate on any voltage in between 2 to 5V. It is up to you. So whatever voltage you connect on VDD, on that voltage it works. But standard operating voltage range is from 2V to 5V. So according to your product requirement, you operate the microcontrollers. Standard voltages are 3.3 and 5V. But PIC 18F4520 can also work on voltage as low as 2V. In Proteus, can we build PCB design? Yes, possible, but there may be some limitations. I will talk about limitations of this kind of softwares for designing the PCB. Your components may not be appropriately placed. That is the major issue if you go for automatic PCB design. If we create project with firmware, then we will get direct controller with 5V VDD in Proteus, sir. Okay. There is one question from Rohit Mane. In IoT training, why not based on ESP32 project, ESP32 better than ESP8266 model? Let me answer. We have already tested performance of ESP8266 module for a period of last 1.5 years. And at present, we are testing performance of ESP32. Problem with ESP32 is lot of features are available, very interesting features are available. But problem is, if you operate it 24/7, then there may be issue. We are testing it. It heat up. When you continuously operate ESP32, it heat up. So for practical deployment, question is, can it work reliably? So we have not tested performance of ESP32. But one important issue we observed is ESP32 gets heat up when it is operated for continuously. See, whenever any component in electronic circuit board heats up, there is issue of its life. The components which heat up much, they require proper cooling, and usually they get damaged. So when you require cooling means that you need to put either bigger size heat sink or you need to put cooling fan, and that may increase the size and cost. So heat is not good for components. The components which heat up much are most likely to fail in the product, and that's why in all kinds of products, the components which heat up much, proper heat dissipation mechanism is given, like heat sink or cooling fans. So performance of ESP8266 we have already monitored for last 1.5 years. Our products we have developed for water management system, they are 24/7 on without any problem. Yeah, other questions? There is one question from Vedanta Madeshwar. 3 compilers are showing for download. You download XC8. XC8 compilers are used for 8-bit devices, XC16 for 16-bit devices, and XC32 for 32-bit devices. For PIC 18A4520, relevant compiler is XC8. Please show how to create project for assembly. We'll do it later. We'll definitely do it, but we'll do it later. There is another question. If you want to make specific port pin high, yes, just write logic 1 and leave it as it is. If you write logic 1 to the port pin and if you do not modify its status, it will remain as logic 1. So as long as you do not modify status of the pin, same status will be maintained. For example, if you write logic 0 and if you do not alter it, that port pin will remain as logic 0. One question is related to Proteus. We can use 330 ohm resistor in Proteus, it will show light. Okay, but let me tell you, when you practically interface LED to port pin with 330 ohm resistor, your LED may burn. Intensity will be too high. The problem or limitation of Proteus software is it does not take into account resistance value for LED properly. In actual PIC development board which I have developed, for green LED I am using 1K resistor and for red LED I am using 2.2K resistor. Yeah, universal programmer can be also used. See, crystal oscillator I have not used in development board. The purpose of this crystal identifier is used in macro. That macro is used for generating delay. So inside that delay macro, this crystal definition is used. So we must define the value there. So as we are using 4 megahertz, I have defined value of 4 megahertz in the program. Sir, what will happen if you use XC16 for this project? Our PIC microcontroller is 8-bit. So XC16 compiler will not support 8-bit devices. So your code will not be compiled. Or even if compiled, I have not tried it. It will not work. For all 8-bit devices, right compiler is XC8. XC16 is used for 16-bit microcontroller. So after downloading MPLAB, there are two icons, MPLAB XID and MPLAB IP. Use MPLAB XID. MPLAB IP I have not used, so I could not comment. So MPLAB XID is for microcontroller program development. Second year students, you need to watch recorded session again and again, and you need to do some hands-on in software as well as hardware. Then you can understand. So for second year students, it will be slightly difficult. However, if you determine to learn new things, then definitely it is possible. There is one question from Manish Jadhav. Can we make the LED fade? Yes, possible. What you can do is, you apply square wave to the LED and change the duty cycle. So by changing the duty cycle, we can control intensity. So for larger duty cycle, intensity will be bright, and for smaller duty cycle, intensity will decrease. So with the help of square wave on microcontroller port pin, and if we change the duty cycle of that square wave, intensity will change. So let me explain in short. On microcontroller port pin, what you do? This is PIC 18F4520. Suppose this is RB0 pin. On RB0 pin, through program, you generate pulse width modulated signal. So through software also it is possible, and there is on-chip PWM module, but the pulse width modulated signal generated using on-chip PWM module is there on other pins. Suppose through program, if you have generated square wave, of course current limiting resistor is required in practice. For green LED it is 1K, and then you have here LED. Now when you change on and off time, average voltage coming across this LED will change, and that will change the average current, and that will result in change in intensity. So when duty cycle is small, like on time is small and off time is large. So here duty cycle is small. So when duty cycle is small, your average voltage becomes small and intensity of LED will decrease. And when on time is large and off time is small, your average voltage will increase. So this type of signal you generate on any port pin and interface LED. So duty cycle is defined as on time upon on time plus off time, and into 100. So this type of signal you generate on port pin and apply to the LED through current limiting resistor. In Protis software, even if you do not connect current limiting resistor, there is no issue. But in actual hardware, current limiting resistor is must, otherwise LED will burn. And what is on time here? This is the on time of the pulse, and this is off time, T off. Can we use third-party compiler for product development? Yes, they are available, but you need to purchase them. I don't know whether free versions are available or not. Also suggest some literature on it. Yes, I have already downloaded application note on XSET compiler. So today I will upload it on the Google Drive. So you can download it. I will share. Any other question? Okay, there is one question. Why configurations are required in programming? In PIC microcontroller, there is separate configuration memory. And the some features of the PIC microcontroller depends upon the bits in the configuration memory, whether those bits are cleared or those bits are set. For example, to select type of oscillator, there are specific bits in the configuration memory. So unless and until you do not select proper combination of these bits, the right kind of oscillator is not selected. And there are around 8 to 10 different combinations for selection of oscillator. And that can be done only with the help of configuration memory. There is no other way. Apart from this, if you want to disable watchdog timer, that is possible with configuration memory. If you want to enable it, possible with configuration memory. So likewise, if you want to enable code protection, it is not possible through software. It is possible through only configuration memory. So this configuration memory is really important. And with the help of bits in the configuration memory, we can selectively enable some features or selectively disable some features. So as per requirement. Configuration remains same for all our programs. It is up to you. So for example, in some products, if you don't want reset pin, you can make it as RE3 pin of the port. In some programs, if you want reset pin, then configure it for MCLR functionality. So there may be slight change. Usually in my product, if I use same part number, I use same configuration in all the products. Reading configuration memory. If code protection is enabled, then you cannot read anything. If code protection is disabled, you can read everything. You can read content of configuration, you can read content of EEPROM, you can read hex file as well. So if code protection is disabled for all memories, then you can read everything with the help of programmer. It is possible. Can we enable single pin to be high instead of entire port? Yes, possible. Tomorrow I'm going to discuss. Tomorrow I'm going to discuss bit addressable instructions. So with the help of bit addressable instructions, selectively you can control any port pin, not related to only one port, related to all ports. So we can modify any single port pin on any port with the help of bit addressable instruction. It is possible. Another question? I think questions are over. So today's session I will close here. Thank you so much. We'll meet once again tomorrow at 6 p.m. And tomorrow I'm going to deliver session on analog to digital conversion and LCD interfacing. And if time permits, we'll also conduct small session on LCD interfacing in Proteus simulation software.